There ain't no grave can hold my body down. There ain't no grave can hold my body down.
Good times. I'm sorry, I just like to joke around with you guys. Welcome to my new series called The Underrateds. I'm your host, Eli. And basically on this series, we talk about NFL stars that do not get a lot of attention from the mainstream media. So in this first episode of season 1, we're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens superstar cornerback, Marlon Humphrey. Now, the Ravens, it's funny because they always manage to find generational talent on the defensive side of the football throughout their franchise history. If you are a new football fan and you watch the NFL for the first time and you see the Baltimore Ravens in the media, the players that you will mainly see is Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram on offense and Marcus Peters and Earl Thomas on defense. You do not often hear about this Marlon Humphrey character, and the funny thing is, there are a lot of football fans out there that do not even know who he is. And that is because the media does not often talk about how talented and consistent this kid really is. Matter of fact, in 2018, I believe that Marlon Humphrey was robbed of a Pro Bowl after having a solid sophomore campaign. He led his team in pass deflections, he had 37 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. Then, on August of 2019, Marlon Humphrey was not on ESPN's top 100 players heading into 2019. And ESPN chose 11 cornerbacks ahead of Marlon Humphrey. And those cornerbacks were Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Gilmore, Marshawn Lattimore, Xavier Howard, Chris Harris Jr., Patrick Peterson, Kyle Fuller, Casey Hayward Jr., Denzel Ward, Tre'Davious White, and Darius Slay. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some real good cornerbacks. But, Marlon Humphrey made the ESPN writers look very facetious because in 2019, Marlon Humphrey had more tackles than any other cornerback on ESPN's list except Darius Slay. Marlon Humphrey had more forced fumbles than any other cornerback on that list except Tre'Davious White. And Marlon Humphrey had more interceptions than 8 of those cornerbacks on that list in a well-deserved Pro Bowl in 2019. Now, Marlon Humphrey was arguably the most consistent player on that Ravens defense last year. Standing at 6 feet, 197 pounds, this guy is a true team player because when Jimmy Smith got injured in week 1, Marlon Humphrey stepped up as the number 1 corner, traveling around the secondary and covering some of the best wide receivers in the game like DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham Jr., Julian Edelman, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Tyler Boyd. And the Ravens defensive coordinator, Don Martindale, loves to use Marlon Humphrey's aggressiveness because in 2019, Marlon had 330 press coverage snaps, which was the 3rd most among corners. And Marlon allowed a passer rating of 49.3 on throws targeted past the 10-yard line, which was the 6th best among corners in the National Football League. Now, with a young DB like Marlon Humphrey, there is always room for improvement. And the best part is that I don't think we have even seen the best of Marlon Humphrey yet. And this upcoming season of 2020 is Marlon Humphrey's contract year. So I believe that this year he'll be back with a vengeance because he is playing for a bigger contract, he is playing to stay in Baltimore, and the most important part, he is playing to get the Lombardi Trophy. I have high expectations for Marlon Humphrey in 2020, and I'm not even a Ravens fan, but I want to see this young DB succeed. Well, guys, that sums it up for episode 1, season 1 of my new series called The Underrateds that airs on YouTube every Sunday. Now, during the weekdays, I will make other football content, but on the weekends, Sunday to be exact, it's just another episode of The Underrateds. Stay tuned.